What's up, guys? So I'm going to be showing you how to build a exercise program based on losing weight and building muscle. So as a trainer, I get asked by a lot of my peers and a lot of people I know a lot to make them programs and what should I do to work out. I want to, put on some weight. I want to add muscle, whether it be to your arms, upper body, lower body, legs, depending on obviously the client or who you are and what your goals are. You're going to want something different. Everybody wants something different. But there is one thing in common. I'm pretty much just going to simplify it down on how to make a program for yourself that's going to help you achieve those goals in the simplest way possible, as easy as I can explain it. So there's three main things you want to focus on, right? One, what you're doing in the gym, your intensity level, your exercises, all that certain category. Two, your diet, what you're eating, because that's a very, very important part is your diet. A lot of people misconcept that and think, you can just eat whatever. That's not true. You need to have, obviously, a diet if you want to achieve your goals. Three, your sleep, your water intake, and your habits. So I'm pretty much going to write this down, put together something that will show you a good kind of outline on how you can make yourself a program customized for you by you. So for this example, we're going to have two different scenarios. So there's going to be one person that wants to add mass, gain weight, lean muscle mass, stuff like that. That is looking for an overall gain in their size and their weight. Then there's the second person wants to lose weight, fat to be exact, and maintain lean mass and gain. All right. So there's two different groups here. Obviously, this doesn't cover everybody. It's a broad spectrum, but just for this video, I'm going to be giving this example. So if you're on the left side, let's go down the left side first. So there's a guy named Joe. Joe, right? He weighs 170 pounds and is, as we would call, skinny fat. So Joe has a high body fat percentage and not at the muscle mass he would like to be. So the first thing you want to do if you're Joe, right? You want to establish a ground level. So measure your weight, your starting point, and take pictures, right? What I like to establish first is get your diet right. So with Joe, I would be recommending to Joe to eat his weight and protein as he would like to be. So say Joe wants to be 190 pounds. I'll be telling him to eat 190 grams of protein and a relatively clean diet, because you don't want to add a bunch of unnecessary calories, fats, sugars that's going to make you gain more body fat than you're going to want to gain. Also, with the nutrition. Last thing I'll tell Joe, you need to be in a surplus, and there is plenty of apps, or not apps, even websites that you can calculate your macros with, and that'll tell you the exact amount of calories that you need to be eating to get to your desired goal, right? Next, all right, programming. What I would tell Joe, depending on how many days you'd like to work out, for this example, let's just say 5 days a week. 5 days. We're going to do a split like this. We're going to go push, pull, leg, push, pull. All right, so we're going to go push, pull, legs, rest, push, pull, rest, then repeat. Simple, right? So we're going to base each one of these workouts, say push, pull, legs. There's going to be an A, so that's going to be block 1, and then there's going to be a B. So what this example is saying is that for these days, right, there's going to be different workouts for each one, but you're going to be repeating that every week and constantly trying to use progressive overload as your system to gain the mass and the strength and overall the muscle in term that you're going to want to gain. So when designing these workouts, what I like to base my workouts around are, it's really up to the person and what their goals on. For Joe, he wants to put on some size in his upper body. He wants to put on some size in his legs. He just wants to get bigger overall everywhere. So we're going to say for his first push day, push A, we're going to do incline dumbbell press to start, right? You want to make sure you're tracking your weights. Track your weights, whether it's with your notes app, if you bring like paper to the gym, or however you want to do it. There's plenty of ways to do it, super easy. So every time you go to the gym, you have something that you're writing down how much weight you're using. For this, I would say we're going to stick to the 6 to 12 rep range. This is going to be increasing intensity each week, right? So with that rep range, I want Joe to push 0 to 2 RIR reps in reserve. So he's pretty much pushing every single one of these sets that he's doing to failure, right? So we're going to do 3 sets, 6 to 12 rep range for push A for the first exercise. Next, this is obviously hypothetical. You can base these workouts on what you want to do for your own. Like if you like this certain exercise, there really isn't one exercise that's going to give you all the goals and all the results that you want. It's really just about progressing on these basic movements. There's basic movements that you need. And people overcomplicate things when you say, okay, you don't need to do all these fancy exercises. You really just need to stick to the basics and progress at the basics to gain, lean muscle, right? Let's say second exercise, we're going to go dumbbell shoulder press. Just simple. Again, 3 times, 6 to 12, 0 to 2, RIR. Then we'll go high to low fly. 2 sets. This time we're going to go 10 to 15 reps. Same thing. Let's go 0 to 2 RIR. So the reason to go higher reps on a motion like a high to low fly is because you really don't want to use too much weight on that movement, because it can be stressful on the joints and it's harder to get into that position anyway with that fly. So this is a great exercise, but again, it's one that I would like to stick to a little bit higher reps on. Here we go. We'll go lateral raise 2 times 10 to 15. Same thing. We're taking almost everything to failure. A lot of people don't train hard enough. They're not intense. I had a couple people I know that had this problem. They asked me why they aren't making progress. I asked them, do they train to failure? Their answer is no. You can build muscle without training to failure, don't get me wrong. But if you want to be most optimal, you're really going to want to up your intensity, whether that's with weight or reps. The easiest way to do that is just train harder. And that's what I tell most people. Push. Okay, finish off with tricep extensions and a 3 times 8 to 12. Stick in that range, 0 to 2 RIR. And then we'll do a French press. 2 times 8 to 12. Right? That'll be your push A. So you really want to write down all these exercises and what weight you fail at with every single one. I don't need to write out all the other ones. This is purely just an example of how you would base your program around, right? So if you were to do a push B, it would be the same muscle groups, but just different exercises. And the same thing goes for legs and for pull day, right? So I only did 1 leg day in here because legs aren't really Joe's main priority. And you can still grow your legs doing them once a week depending on how intense you're trying to train, right? Okay, that's Joe. Now we'll touch on John. John is a little bit overweight. He's about 250 pounds. He has a body fat percentage at, let's say, 25% body fat. John wants to get down to 200 pounds. Definitely lose the body fat and show his lean muscle that he has underneath the fat. So what we're going to do with John, it's really not much different than what we're going to do with Joe. But instead, with John, we're going to focus on exercises that are going to have the heart rate at a higher level and incorporate more cardio. So John, let's say you're going to do 5 minutes treadmill before and after your workouts. B plus A, right? Before and after. Same thing, John. We're going to focus you on a 3 days on, 1 off program, hitting the main group PPL, push, pull, legs. Progressive overload applies to the same goals, right? It's so simple that all you need to do is track your weights. And with John, with the difference between Joe and John is John needs to be in a deficit. Biggest, most important part. He needs to be in a calorie deficit. spelled that wrong, whatever. So again, there's apps to track your calories. There's apps that'll tell you how many macros you need to be eating in order to lose the amount of weight that you want and how many calories you burn, right? So again, with John, we're gonna keep it higher intense, less rest time, not necessarily training to failure. With John, we're gonna go more from 2 to 4 RIR with everything, right? Because we're focused on losing the weight. We want our heart rate to be spiked. We want us to be burning those extra calories. And it's preference on your exercises. There's no, like I said, there's no golden exercise that's just gonna bring you to your goals, right? So I basically just wanted to make this video to help clear up some misconceptions and just make it easier for some of you to build the program that you want to build. Whether you're a gym goer or a personal trainer and you want to build programs for your clients, it really does simplify down to progressive overload, diet, sleep, making sure you're getting at least 6 to 7 hours of quality sleep, making sure you're hydrated, everything like that, right? So you don't need to overcomplicate things. There's no golden exercise. Stick with the basics, repeat the 2 same workouts. Split it up with 2 separate weeks. You have a block A, you have a block B. You do these exercises on A, you do these on B, and you write each one down in your notes section. Keep track of every single weight that you use, and then every week you're trying to progress, constantly going to failure. So that's the best way that I know to build muscle. Thanks for watching the video, guys.